started a business fixing cars, where I thought nobody asks where you came from when you're putting their water pump on. It was there that I made the acquaintance of a therapist. And this was in the late 90s when the DSM-4 came out. And as it happened, I was turning 40, and he said to me, John, I've been, watching you all this time, and you're a successful guy, and I've really hesitated to say anything to you about this, but you've told me on so many occasions how you feel like you're disconnected, and you feel like you're standing outside the rain looking in the windows at all the people inside. And he said, there's a reason for that. And it's this new condition that people are talking about. It's called Asperger's syndrome, and it's a form of autism. And he said, you could be the poster boy for it. And I said, what? I said, autism? That's crazy. And the only thing I knew of autism at that time was the St. Elsewhere TV show. If any of your listeners remember that, there was this, autistic boy on the TV show, and he didn't speak or anything. And so the therapist had anticipated that, and he had put notes all through the book. And he said, here's a book about Asperger's, and I've marked things that are like you. And he opens it up, and I see that autistic people, we love trains, and nobody knows why. That was me. And he said, here's another one. And he showed me how autistic people don't understand personal space, and people feel threatened if we're too close, or we're ignoring them if we're too far. And it was like one thing after another, and every one of them was me. And wow. So it was a tremendous revelation, because for the first time in my life, someone had presented me with a constructive explanation for why I was different. And it wasn't something that was just ugly or dismissive or critical. It was just, well, here it is. And that was a life-changing thing for me.
That's an amazing story.
It sure is. Was the book you're referencing, was it the DSM, or was it another book, John?
No, the DSM doesn't have illustrations like that in it. The book that he referenced was a book called Asperger's Syndrome by Tony Attwood, an Australian psychologist.
Great.
And it's it's funny because years later I would become friends with Dr. Attwood, and that we met through the book. And of course, you mentioned the DSM, and you say, did I learn about it from the DSM? Actually, the DSM is derived from the ICD, which is the World Health Organization set of standard definitions of disease and disorder. That and the ICF define medical conditions and human function. And again, years later, I'd go on to serve on the steering committee to shape those definitions. And so it's kind of an irony that you would ask that.